let's get swimmingly into it. Number 10. If a female doesn't mate, she can actually just make babies on her own. Some species of sea turtle can actually reproduce without mating. This process is called parthenogenesis, which means virgin birth in Greek. There are very few animals that can do this. So like, if a chicken could lay an egg without mating with a rooster, that would be kind of crazy, right? Parthenogenesis has been observed in several different species of turtles, both tortoise and sea turtles, but it's not entirely clear why they do this or how they do it. It's thought that sometimes it might happen by accident, like when a female turtle is stressed or in a dangerous situation. Other times it might be because there aren't any males around to mate with. But scientists are still trying to figure it all out. Anyway, this ability comes in handy when the going gets tough, and it also means that if a female wants to, she doesn't have to wait around for a male to approach her and hopefully be a gentleman caller. Call me old-fashioned, but I think that's sweet. Number 9. A group of male turtles will sometimes surround a female to protect her from a predator while she's laying eggs. This behavior has been observed in several different species of sea turtles, and it's thought to be an example of cooperative breeding behavior. Basically, the males are helping each other out by protecting their shared mate while she lays her eggs. The males will take turns being close to the female, and they'll also guard her as she returns to the water after laying her eggs. The exact reason why males do this isn't fully understood, but it's thought that it's because guarding the female increases the chances that she'll successfully lay her eggs and produce offspring that will carry their genes to the next generation. Plus, by working together, the males can more effectively defend the female from predators than if they were trying to do it alone. Also, wouldn't you want your friends to help you out if you were laying eggs on the beach? It's like no one should have to do everything alone. Sharing is caring. Number 8. Sea turtles can eat algae, which grows on floating mats of debris in the ocean. These mats can be made up of all sorts of trash and other debris, and they provide a surface for algae to grow on. And guess what? Turtles love munching on that algae. However, do one really differentiate between the algae and the plastic or other materials that the algae is growing on? So turtles can end up eating plastic along with the algae. Plastic can cause all sorts of problems for turtles, from getting tangled in it to eating pieces that can obstruct their digestive system or even choke them. So yeah, turtles are basically eating our trash, which is gross and also sad, and it makes us humans look kind of bad. I mean, can you imagine if someone was eating your leftovers and then getting a big cut on their mouth from a piece of glass that was in your food? That would suck. So let's try to keep the ocean a little cleaner, please and thank you. Number 7. A sea turtle can hold its breath underwater for up to 7 hours at a time. How do they do this? Well, turtles have special adaptations that allow them to stay underwater for long periods of time. For example, they have a special flap called a nictitating membrane that covers their eyes and prevents them from drying out. They also have the ability to slow down their metabolism, which means they use less oxygen while they're underwater. This allows them to stay submerged for hours at a time, which is pretty impressive. Now, this is important for a couple reasons. First off, it helps them conserve energy while they're swimming around looking for food. And secondly, if they need to escape from a predator, they can stay underwater for a long time without needing to come up for air, which is smart. Imagine if you could hold your breath for like an entire day. You would be one sneaky human. Number 6. Green sea turtles are known to develop an attachment to their caretakers. When green sea turtle hatchlings are first born, they head straight for the ocean. However, before they get there, they often cared for by volunteers who raise them until they big enough to survive on their own. The turtles are hand-fed and given lots of attention, so it's not surprising that they form attachments to their caretakers. In fact, green sea turtles have such strong memories that they often remember their caretakers and the sounds of their voices even years later. How adorable is that? Honestly, you kind of want to be a green sea turtle's caretaker. Number 5. In some cases, a turtle can live longer than the age of consent in some U.S. states. Yes, you heard that right. There are some U.S. states where the age of consent is lower than the age that a turtle can reach sexual maturity. In many states, the age of consent is 16 or 18, but turtles like the red-eared slider can reach sexual maturity at around 13 or 14. Now, this isn't a huge issue most of the time, since turtles usually only mate with other turtles. But there have been instances of red-eared sliders mating with other animals, including dogs. And in some states, this could potentially be considered statutory rape. Whoops. So yeah, maybe it's best to keep your pet turtle away from your pet dog, just to be safe. Just to be safe. Number 4. Turtles can regulate their body temperature by moving between areas of hot and cold. This is a really cool adaptation that allows them to stay active in a wide range of temperatures. See, turtles are what's known as a poikilothermic animal, which means they rely on external sources of heat to regulate their body temperature. When they get too hot, they'll move to a cooler area, like shade or water. And when they get too cold, they'll bask in the sun or find some other source of heat. This is why you'll often see turtles hanging out on logs or rocks in the sun, soaking up those rays. And they do this to warm themselves up again. This ability to regulate their own body temperature gives turtles a lot of flexibility in terms of where they can live and what time of day they reactive. But it also makes them a little bit vulnerable to changes in the environment. For example, if there's a sudden change in temperature, turtles might not be able to move quickly enough to find a new basking spot or shady area, and that can leave them at risk of overheating or getting too cold. Number 3. Baby turtles are eaten by almost everything, from birds to snakes to crabs and even fish. Baby turtles are basically like the Doritos of the ocean, except instead of being cheesy and crunchy, they're squishy and occasionally have shells. This makes them super easy to eat for a lot of animals. In fact, up to 40% of sea turtle hatchlings are lost to predators before they even make it to the water. Ouch. This is why sea turtles lay so many eggs. To compensate for the eggs that are lost to predators, Mama Turtle will lay around 100 eggs in each clutch, and she might lay 5 to 7 clutches in a season. That's a lot of eggs. So even though baby turtles are basically walking snacks for a lot of animals, enough of them make it to the ocean to keep the species going. Number 2. If a turtle's shell gets damaged, it can't really heal itself. Turtle shells are made up of bony plates that are connected by connective tissue. When they get damaged, those plates can break and separate. Once they've broken, the plates don't just put themselves back together. If a turtle gets a big gash or a deep cut on its shell, it needs help from someone else to put the pieces back together. If the wound is big enough, the turtle might even need to go to a vet for surgery. It's not quite as simple as putting a Band-Aid on it and calling it a day. And that S, because a turtle S shell isn't just a bunch of bones on the outside of its body. It's actually part of its skeleton. So if a turtle's shell gets messed up, it's not just a cosmetic issue. It can affect the turtle's ability to move around and protect itself from predators. All right, we saved the best for last. Number 1, did you know that a group of male turtles will sometimes form a circle around a female turtle during mating? This behavior has been observed in several different species of turtles, and it's thought to be a way for the males to ensure that they have a chance to mate with the female. During a group mating session, the male turtles will take turns being on top of the pile, if you know what I mean. And this ensures that everyone gets a chance to fertilize the female's eggs. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds exhausting. Like, no thanks. I'd rather just watch from the sidelines and be like, you guys go for it, while I take a nice bubble bath. Anyway, it's not always a totally harmonious experience. Sometimes the male turtles will fight each other to establish dominance and get their turn with the female. And that means that the smallest turtles are at a disadvantage, since they are more likely to get injured or pushed out of the group. This behavior is pretty interesting because it shows that even in the turtle world, competition for mates is fierce. Now, I'm definitely not comparing turtles to humans here or anything, but let's be real. We're all just trying to get our turn on top. You know? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.